We'll need plumbers, construction crews, farmers, medics and more following the much forecast AI apocalypse. Hairdressers and barbers for sure. Perhaps also taproom staff and sports stars once bars and stadiums are rebuilt from the ashes Skynet will blanket across mankind and survivors need something of a distraction from that new world. But will we need lawyers, business services consultants and coders? Some are confident enough of this tech-sparked collapse that some of us may live to find out. Now, it is conceivable someone, somewhere, staring at their screen, clicks the button labelled execute just one time too many, and the self-aware, bad-tempered online digital creature that action creates and then empowers takes the command a smidge too literally. If that's inevitable and then impossible to counter, even if a sort of fantasy sci-fi human insurgency resists, perhaps it's not a scenario worth spending that much energy on now to foresee and mitigate. Naturally, what seems far more likely is a grey medium, propagating from early signs already in evidence across developed countries' employment markets, a reorganisation of jobs, more specifically the roles humans will still be needed for, and those for which our biological brains woefully underperform in the face of competing synthetic brains. It's not as simple as a brutal transfer of power though. Although AI is certain to improve from the fledgling models we see today, and would of course scoff at the same way that we chuckle at the 1.44 megabyte floppy disks unable to hold even a single photo captured on a smartphone, there are costs. Energy for one. People messing around asking ChatGPT or Grok to make them a photorealistic image of a cat's head with a crocodile's body holding a political banner adorned with a watermelon are using significant electricity that must be generated in a physical power station of one sort or another. So it's unlikely to be the case short or medium term that AI is a no-brainer on every level, whether they be short or long language models, or categories of advanced information processing not even conceived. What it will do though, both gradually and in fits and starts, is radically upend what our urbanised, technologically advanced societies see as normal employment. In society, for individuals and communities, it will also totally alter our prestige economies. Each nation differs through accidents of history, geography and culture, but we all have professions that leave the masses in awe, others you nod in respectful recognition of, and there are those that we pity or even sneer at. But for how long? And which ones? I'm convinced we will see a grand-scale disillusionment as to the reality of what so many see as the top jobs, out of reach to the many, gilded, respected bastions of professional excellence, intellect beneath an umbrella of plain old superiority. The irony is that so many are repetitive and indeed derivative that they may well be the first to fall in what a layman would call the first generation of clever robots. This is not a compliment. For now at least, we see robots or their online equivalents like LLM chatbots as subhuman, as little more than slaves, as merely obedient low-cost workers trawling through all the real work that clever humans have prompted them to process. Properly instructed and interpreted, the speed at which even now an AI assistant can visualise an idea, can draft a document, can trawl through millions of records to identify patterns, or to make recommendations for a strategy based on analysing thousands of similar past situations, is quite simply going to make many of our laptop warriors look pitiful, and then they will look sad as well as pitiful when they are let go. Perhaps some who would just the day before make a snide comment in earshot of an aspiring creative working in Starbucks to pay bills as they strive towards their uncertain big break. It doesn't take long to compile a list of job descriptions from the sectors that seem so unlikely to survive the transition. We must resist conflating what we predict with what we may hope to see, but I don't think this upset is to be lamented. Two past generations have misawarded status across the working world, garnering prestige on people who peddle vaporware or whose industries parasitise others. In the United Kingdom, the past generation or so has seen the most marked change, stealing competence and potential from careers once revered for collectively spiralling us up, not down. That is, the recruitment at scale of those young showing the most academic promise and X factor, not into jobs that create, innovate or physically construct things, but rather into financial, legal or generic business industries, plus more downstream services drinking from the grey water tank that those industries generate. Most of the initial vulnerable jobs are junior and mid-level, where work consists of repetitive tasks with sadistic working hours, culturally enforced yet unofficial, merely to perpetuate the ridiculous workplace atmosphere those higher up the ladder dealt with a few years before, and with no care for quality of work. Think junior lawyers, management consultants with barely 6 months of life experience if you exclude school and university years. Think also software developers, specifically the bulk performing the menial day-to-day, not the handful of prodigies also blessed with creative business minds. Think digital media strategists. Think number crunchers, or even those rungs above who analyse the numbers that the crunchers or basic computers have already crunched. In our big cities, these roles win you six-figure salaries, often straight out of bang-average universities, as well as the famous ones, if not immediately, then a year or two later. The city swagger, gilet uniform and clip-clop stride is born here too. The work tribes rush to the latest fad, be it the dimly lit lifestyle gym of the month or rooftop bar. AI and the markets will expose these jobs and these blinkered individuals filling them, showing no mercy even to the well-meaning ones. The fragile single-coat gloss and status associated with many will flake off rather faster than people may be able to adjust to. Perhaps there will be space for that single-coat lacquer to be stripped, properly primed and then given 3 quality even coats of gloss coat by someone who knows how. And as we turn our attention there towards the real and tangible, engineers, and I do not mean white goods repairers or software warriors, but ones that design, test and develop structures and machines, are overdue a deserved return to the top table of professional status and salary. I for one will shed no tears for those other bloated and uninspired, often greedy sectors, and much of their populace of F-45 addicted, jargon-addled clones. Those amongst them with potential have had it squandered by industries built specifically to skim and churn wealth, but yet create nothing. For some to rise, and with AI as new competition, others must fall. I trust the conscientious and the innovative will welcome the shedding of their self-entitled weight, and with foresight keep their new AI colleague on an appropriate length leash, create wonderful things once again, yet encouragingly not quite as before. More interesting that way.